Are you struggling to find the biting point in your car? If you are, keep watching. The best way to find the biting point, in my opinion, is to put on your handbrake. And I'm going to give you a demonstration of that now. If I put my handbrake on, I'm in first gear, then what's happening is that your handbrake only uses the back wheels to keep us secure. The foot brake, however, uses all four, it works on all four wheels. And if we imagine that as we press the brake in, we're locking all four wheels to the ground. So if I was to press the foot brake in and bring the clutch up, then all four wheels are locked to the ground and I don't get much movement in the car at all. I can feel the car shuddering and shaking a little bit, but it's not as good as an indicator as just having the handbrake on. The handbrake, like I said, works on just the back wheels. So what happens there is that as you bring the clutch up to bite, the back wheels are anchored to the ground and the front wheels want to go. We'll try and have a look at that now and see there the front of the vehicle. So I'm going to just take the windscreen wipers off for a second, and as I bring the clutch up to bite, the back wheels are anchored and the front of the car starts to lift. You can see that just as I push the clutch in quite quickly, it drops back down again. So if I pull the quick windscreen wiper so I can see the front of the car again. So if I bring the clutch up quite quickly, you should see the movement quite quickly, and then drop it down again, push it down again, bring it up again, down again, and we can see the movement of the car. That doesn't happen with your foot brake on. Try it again. Want my foot brake on, I bring the clutch up and the car just kind of stays rooted to the spot of where it is. So that shows the best way to do it is the use of the handbrake. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use the handbrake all the time, every single time you want to go and move off. If you don't like using the handbrake, then that's your choice. All I'm saying to you is that that is the best way in a front wheel drive car. I don't know about rear wheel drive cars because I don't really drive a rear wheel drive car, but in a front wheel drive car, that is the best way to gauge where the biting point is. And each and every single time, if you get yourself a new car, every single time you get yourself a new car, that's the best way to try and train your foot in how to realize where the biting point is, because every single car has a different biting point. It could be the same model, could have a different biting point because the clutch has been used more. The other way of finding that biting point is to have the gas set and have it set at about 1.5 to 2,000 revs. So you can see just there, just climbing a little bit past 2. Have your handbrake on, get your biters, get that gas ready, and if you bring your clutch up, you will see that raise up quite a lot. And as you do that, you'll also see the engine revs drop dramatically. At that point, you've got a physical sensation and you can see you get biting point. The more and more you practice biting point, the better and better you will get, and your foot will just get used to coming up to biting point and staying there, holding there. I personally always like to keep my heel rooted on the ground when I get bite. It steadies your leg, especially in a test. There's nothing worse than having your leg jutter like crazy, and if you've been for a test before, this is what starts happening. If you root your foot to the floor, keeping the heel there, and just pivot your foot backwards to find bite, you can still slide your foot slightly back, but if you keep that there, that's going to keep you steady and at biting point without having to use your whole entire leg to find bite. Now, if you're a little bit shorter and you can't keep your heel on the floor, then obviously, you know, that might be an issue. But if you can do, I would suggest you try and keep your heel rooted to the floor when you do this. There are other ways of finding your biting point. Now, you can put it in first gear with your handbrake off. If you do this on a flat surface, so you're not going to be rolling too much, and then start to slowly bring your clutch up a little bit at a time. Obviously checking around you, making sure it's safe, and as soon as the car starts to roll a little bit, stop. If obviously it doesn't keep rolling like this, then starts to bring it up a little bit more, keeping an eye on what's going on. And as soon as it moves, you can keep your clutch exactly where it is. And there we can see, yeah, that it's got biting point. You can do this with a little bit of gas as well. So you keep your clutch in, pressed in down to the ground. Start pressing the gas a little bit, and obviously having another look around you, or have your accompanying driver look for you while you concentrate on this. Get your engine revs to about 2, start bringing that clutch up, and just keep it there. And it will just train your foot to stay at biting point until you're moving off to about 3 miles an hour, and then you can take your foot off the clutch. That's not going to help you, in my opinion, all right, to get over that fear of trying to find your biting point in a stressful situation, such like on a hill, such like when you need to move off at a faster pace, roundabouts and such like that. The training yourself with the biting point and the handbrake allows you to get used to putting the handbrake on, for starters, and being comfortable with the use of the handbrake. If you don't practice this like you do with just the moving off and the stopping, you're never going to be able to get into a situation where you are quite comfortable just coming to a stop, putting the handbrake on, into first, getting that biting point, getting the gas set, waiting for the lights to change, or looking to see if you can go at that roundabout, and then getting that gas going and moving off. You're always going to be stuck in that situation where you're trying to balance the biting point and the gas, and try and make sure that the car doesn't go too far forward, or doesn't start rolling backwards. Putting that handbrake on, getting the bite, like I say, in my opinion, is the best way to train yourself how to do it. When, obviously, this is for learners. You know, if you've been driving for 10, 15 years, 20 years and everything like that, you can balance the clutch and the biting point, and you know exactly where to keep it in every single car you get into, like I do. I can do that. But again, this is for learners. These are the tiny little baby steps that we take to make sure that we can do everything when we need to. This isn't for making sure that you're ready for test. This is training yourself in the moment. We're not worried about being ready for test at this moment in time. We are trying to get used to getting the biting point and moving the car off under full control. You'll know when you're ready for test. You'll be able to do everything that you need to do, and your instructor will agree with you that, yeah, let's go for test. Until that time, let's just worry and let's just concentrate, not worry, but let's concentrate just on trying to get your biting point and moving off in the safest way possible. Hope that helps. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you again in the next one. Drive safe.